Hey everybody and welcome to this different type of video. Usually around Wednesdays if I upload a video, it's some tips and tricks type of video, whatever you want to call it. This is more of a, the more you know type of video, except for the very first thing that I'm gonna cover. This will not really affect how you play the game, or it shouldn't, and it won't really affect, in most scenarios, how you'll play it and how you'll end up experiencing it. Personally, though, I found some of the stuff very interesting, and like I said, if you are just interested in this unnecessary kind of stuff that Eugen has done, intentional or not, maybe you'll find it interesting at least as well. Like I said, the first thing that I'm going to cover right now, this is actually somewhat relevant, and you more or less, or at least partially, know about this. So yeah, you can already see it's the MIT-KT, and as you know, the gun is broken, or hopefully no, rocket pods are normal, but also, of course, it has a higher speed than any other Mi-8, except for the other Mi-8T that Finland has. The Mi-8P is normal, but the Mi-8T and KT have higher speed for no good reason. And every other, Mi-8, like the MTV, for example. But this is not all there is to it, because if we take a look at the good old Armory tool, Mi-8 MTV, you can see here. Can you see my mouse pointer? You can. Speed, fuel capacity, autonomy, blah blah blah. And then you see the values maximum acceleration and the deceleration, which are just what they say. Effective, the higher the value, the better they can accelerate, or the faster they can accelerate and decelerate. Makes sense. Even the moving type, you can ignore that for now. And then temps demi-tour, which is maybe some French, or they abbreviated the French words, which basically means how long they need to turn. In this case, a lower value is better, and in these two cases, a higher value is better. That'll also go for ground units, and I'll cover that in a bit. But here higher better and here lower better. So let's compare that to a Gazelle cannon. Gazelle cannon, as you can see, max acceleration 40 as opposed to 20, right? Same with deceleration. And in the temps, whatever this is pronounced like, in the turn radius value, let's just call it that, it has a value of 2, And this makes sense. If you played with a Gazelle or a similarly small Hilo or any other Gazelle, really, it accelerates, it decelerates very fast, it lands really fast, it turns really fast, right? So that makes all sense, right? Now let's take a look at the Mi-8T-KT. And what do we have? The exact same value when it comes to deceleration and acceleration, as well as turning, as the Gazelle, as opposed to the MTV. So not only does it have a higher top speed, but, and maybe you already know that, I'm not sure if I mentioned it in the video or showed that, but it is also just a lot more nimble, making it a lot more easy to maneuver. Meaning that even though the gun does not have a turret, it can fire significantly quicker than, let's say, an Mi-24P that also has a fixed gun, because it can accelerate and turn significantly faster, and most importantly decelerate, when you want to fire and you're still moving and you tell it to stop when you want to fire on a stationary target, right? So yeah, that's another reason why the MIT-KT is broken. But but even knowing that, and that is the most impactful information from this video, the only one that is somewhat relevant, but nonetheless, it's not like that would significantly affect the way you play with the A or the KT probably, but it is still good to know that there's more to the brokenness of this helicopter. And if you're curious, something like the Tiger with medium size has some, or an Apache, has when it comes to acceleration and deceleration, basically the middle ground, but the turning radius is still relatively low. A CH-53, which is very big, is just as slow as a normal big helicopter like the MTVs or a Mi-24. The next thing, actually also still somewhat relevant, I forgot about that, has to do with the size. So let's quickly turn these off. So, as you hopefully know, the size of a helicopter affects the chance of it to get hit, right? Size, the bigger, the more chance to be hit. Gazelle Hut, very small. Gazelle Hut 2, very small. Gazelle Celtic, very small. Makes sense, right? Now, what if I told you, or another thing, you know, MI2 is also very small. Now, what if I told you that those are not actually the same, they actually don't have the same size? Now, if you take a look at various gazelles, for example, let me just find the proper tab, and that is, I think, at survivability. Yeah, survivability. Let me show you the gazelle cannon. Now, you can ignore all these numbers here. This is interesting to know, but I won't go over this. This is not really very important. There's only one important thing here, and that is size. This is, honestly, I can never remember if it's a flat additive bonus, which I don't think it is, just basic multiplier. I honestly don't know, but the thing is, the lower this number, and then, or the bigger the absolute number, if it's like in the minus. But this basically means the 0.2. It's just for the sake of the argument here. Assume that the accuracy of a missile or any unit firing at a gazelle cannon gets reduced by 20%. If it's like 1/5 or just straight up 20%, I don't know, I don't remember, but 0.2. 0.2 in this case better than minus 0.1 or 0 or plus 0.1 or even worse, plus 0.2, etc., etc. Now, let's take a look at the Gazelle Hut 2 and just quickly compare this and this, and then go back to in-game and take a look at their size. Maybe you have noticed something. Or maybe take a look at something like a Lynx, which has a size of small. Let me open this in-game as well real quick. Lynx, small, right? Not very small, just small. You see minus 0.05. We take a look at MI2s, and they have minus 0.1. Take a look, just these for now. Minus 0.1, like the Gazelle Hut 2. Now, what is it supposed to be? Is it minus 0.1? Minus 0.2? What is very small supposed to be? Given the fact that the Gazelles, the MI2s have minus 0.1, and given the fact that the size of very big affects it by plus 0.1, I assume that a proper value would probably also be minus 0.1 instead of minus 0.2, and that for some reason those were some old values or testing values or whatever that were left over for some of the helicopters. Yeah, like I said, not hugely impactful, but something to keep in mind. Let's take a look at, let's say, the little bird. Also has minus 0.2. What about the Cayuse? Minus 0.2. Scout Defender, the Recon, minus 0.2. That is very interesting. And something like Puma, you know, they have no value. IDK stands for no value, or 0 in this case. So yeah. But now let's really get into stuff that doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things. Because if you take a look at tanks, let's take a look at the Leopard 2. And take a look at their mobility. See max acceleration 25 meters, deceleration 50 meters, you know. This is, for most tanks, more or less standardized. And then we have the turn radius again, for the lower the better. Leopard 2s are actually a bit better than most tanks in terms of turn radius. If you take a look at the Abrams line, for example, they have a value of 5 here. Acceleration and deceleration are 5, but turn radius actually 5. If you take a look at, let's say, a T90, also don't mind the picture, also 5, and same acceleration, deceleration. Same even with the PT90. Let's take a look at the Leclerc. Same acceleration and deceleration and turn radius. Let's take a look at the Challenger 2. same acceleration, deceleration, and turn radius, despite them having vastly different top speeds. And in real life, the Abrams, I think, also uses a gas turbine as opposed to a diesel engine, if I'm not wrong, question mark? May actually, which I think, this is, correct. Please tell me in the comments if this is correct or false, which I think also generally correlates with higher acceleration. But maybe if you paid attention, you have seen that the Challenger 1 line actually has a slightly lower turn radius, same acceleration and deceleration, and the Chieftain line an even worse turn radius. And the Chieftain Mark II, the only of those tanks, actually having a slightly worse acceleration. Now, let's get to what this actually what caused this video. And that was Putin187 pointing something out to me. Actually, he pointed something else out to me, but this is what I think led to this all happening. The T-72B OBR 1987. Actually, let's open all T-72s. Go to the OBR 1987. Acceleration of 30 meters, except of 25, as opposed to 25. Interesting. Let's take a look at the OBR in game real quick to see if there's another difference when it comes to that. OBR 87. Exact same mobility set as the OBR 1889. Except same set as the T-72B and B1. Except same stats as take a look, T-72 as the Moderna, T-72S, M1M, T-72S, S1. Not the works are slower. I think those are all. The 20 is also slower. So how come? The T-72B, same acceleration. 89, same acceleration. B1, same acceleration. And the BU and like the other two T-72s here, all same acceleration and turning radius. Except the OBR 87, which is, for some reason, better at accelerating. And I was sure before that already, but I asked, or I think someone commented on it, and that would make no real life sense. The OBR 87 didn't suddenly have like a better engine or something that caused it to accelerate better. That is definitely not the case. Now here's the interesting thing. If we take a look at the Eastern Bloc DLC tanks that have the same top speed, i.e. 70 km/h, we see the exact same acceleration stat. T-72S, Moderna, not the M1M, because it's not a DLC tank, but Moderna, T-72S, T-72S1, East German T-72S, Polish T-72S, all share this acceleration. However, not the M2 Wilk and not the 240, because they have a lower top speed. Why? If I had to guess, whoever coded those new tanks just copied over the mobility module stats or whatever it is from the OBR 87 to those Eastern Bloc DLC tanks that were supposed to have 700 kilometers autonomy, 70 km/h speed, and a fuel load of 1600 liters. And of course the road speed. Like I said, this is completely irrelevant information, honestly, in the grand scheme of things. Like, sure, this tiny bit of acceleration, in theory and technically, and I guess in practice as well, can help with like peaking in and out of forest, stuff like that, But in practice, that difference is not very noticeable and is on tanks where it isn't really a huge deal. But I felt like it was somewhat interesting. But now let's actually get into the really juicy stuff. That is still irrelevant, but take a look at. Oh, and I hope. Oh, please, Razzmann, don't forget that did I show? No, hold up. Yeah. Before, in case I forgot to show this window, let's briefly go back here. 87 acceleration 30, 89 25, B 25, B1 25, BU 25. You know, all the other T-72s have 25, except for, you know, T-72S, M2 Moderna, M1M does not, because not a DLC tank, S1, S, and this S as well. The others all have 25. Even the Finnish DLC tanks, even though they also have the same autonomy and the same top speed, they have 25 meters, which is interesting, right? But I'm just showing this again in case I didn't realize that I wasn't showing this window on screen, because I'm a scuffed YouTuber. So now let's go into the really funny thing. Let's take a look at what wheeled vehicles look like in terms of their acceleration. Right? Let's just take a look at this ASLEF. Acceleration 37 meters. You know, let's take a look at, you know, just a normal tank, 25 meters in case you forget, just to have this side by side, right? Let's take a look at an AMX 10. 37 meters, IVs, also 37 meters. Interesting. Let's take a look at the Mother 1, 37 meters. IVs seem to have a very fast acceleration. Unless, of course, you're a BVP line. I'm not gonna lie, I'm noticing this for the first time. This is not what I wanted to show. Or let's take a look at BMPs. I actually did not notice that. BMP2s. Oh, 25 meters. I wanted to show something else, but I just realized this is the first time. BMP3 is 37 meters. Let's take a look at the STRF. 37 meters. The CV90, 37 meters. What about the XA line? 25 meters. What the hell's going on? Oh my god. I honestly, this is I didn't know that. I wanted to show something else, but I accidentally stumbled upon the AMX Sense and I was like, holy shit, I didn't know that. What else do we have? Bradley's 37 meters. Okay, boys, we did it. DLC is not OP anymore because the MAD has a slower acceleration than the Marder ones. What else? What other IFVs are there? Vidra, 37 meters. Interesting. Same as the wheeled Vidra. What are Warriors? Warriors are 37. Holy shit. Hachiki, Hachinana is 37. What about the Fuchs? 37. Humvee, 40 even. Jeez. Okay, that is, wow. I did not know. And really low turning time. You know, even lower than 3. 2 is ridiculously low. Let's take a look at something like Iltis. I just okay, so CVs and certain Jeeps, it seem like to have a really high acceleration and deceleration. Let's take a look at ASLEF. Right, we already had that 37. So the XA line is not very good at accelerating. What about the BTR line? Take a look at 60 first. Not very good at accelerating. What about 70? 70, because it's a command, accelerates really fast, but the transport is not. What about the 80 line? Okay, the 80A accelerates really fast for some reason. The base 80 not. What about the 90? Also accelerates really fast. That is, I'm not sure if there's a reason to it. This time, I'm really not sure. I mean, for CVs, there seems to be, you know, they tend to always have like very good acceleration, I guess maybe for balancing purposes. Actually, the base BTR50 also accelerates really fast. What the hell? What about the M113? Also, what the? No, this one. So the, oh my god. The ANSEC 5-pointer does not accelerate fast, but what? Jesus Christ, Eugene. As if those 5-pointers weren't already bad enough. Not to mention that the one that actually gets an extra 50 cal, if you take a look at this up there, gets a bigger availability hit for no reason, while the A3 takes no penalty. What about the Zelda? Zelda accelerates slowly. K200 slowly. 103G AG /G. What was the German one called? So it has a G in it, right? There's RF. A1G also accelerates slowly. Same as the motor. But no, the US A3 accelerates fast. Maybe it has an improved engine. Who knows? I don't. But it seems to me, given that the Super Dragon, I guess maybe it's heavier because of the Super Dragon, so it can't accelerate as fast. But then again, why does a Dragon, A1 Dragon, accelerate just as fast as a normal A1? Liptards? What about... Okay, this is just incredibly inconsistent. Holy shit, I did... Okay. For some reason this value varies, but most wheeled vehicles seem to have an acceleration of 37 meters. Let's take a look at wheeled vehicles that aren't transports. Let's take a look at a Roland. It is wheeled. 37 meters. Let's take a look at OSA. 37. What about some VBL? VLRA? 25. Maybe because it's on a chassis. What about the VLRA Mistral? Oh, we had just had it. I'm retarded. VBL 37. Okay, that is interesting. So transports are all over the place. And I just found this out. What I originally wanted to show you. Let's go quickly back to the MX-10. To have what seems to be more or less standardized wheel stats with 37 meters acceleration. What I originally wanted to show you was the 103 line, not this 103. This 103. Oh no, that's a CV. That's normal Razzmann. All CVs have 37. No. They have an acceleration of 37 meters and a really low turn radius as well. Not only those, because the Camera, the Camera does as well. The Camera and the STV line turn and accelerate real fast. Interesting. Very, very interesting. But it doesn't stop there. Oh no, it doesn't stop there. Let's take a look at Centurions. Let's take a look at those lovely, lovely Centurions. If we take a look at those Centurions, they all are except for some reason this one, once again, nice fuck up, Eugen. They tend to, accelerate more slowly than most other tanks. No? By the way, you might say something like an M41, which is like a light tank or something, or an M18 accelerate real fast. No, they accelerate just as fast as most other tanks. But the Centurions, they seem to be a bit slower, which they seem to, it makes sense, I think, because I think the Centurions were also in real life comparably pretty slow and like very heavy, right? Especially for their time. So I think, I would say that makes sense. Marksman actually, by the way, accelerates normally. So that makes sense, except for that one little fuckhead. Seemed to make sense. The Turin Aviary also very slow. But it seems to be consistent with at least with this exception. Or so you thought. Wow, I didn't realize the Finnish Centurions had some crazy whatever engines that made them accelerate so fast. Wow, how very, very curious. Literally every STRV tank has this acceleration and turn radius, except for the 1-to-1. That one has normal Leopard 2 stats. But this Centurion and this Centurion, as well as these two, for some reason, and that reason being Eugen either being lazy or incompetent or forgetful, I don't know, maybe there's a different reason, they also accelerate very, very fast, which is basically not noticeable at all on these tanks because they have a very low top speed. But let's quickly show this in game. If you pay a bit of attention to it, you can notice stuff like that. I just go on, I think, Scandi. And like I said, for all intents and purposes, it isn't really a very big deal. I think this is oh no, they're actually all slow. All 50 km/h slow. What about the logistic one? Oh, 50. Alright, let's take. Oh no, this one is alright. This one has 60 and the same acceleration as the one with 3 line. It's like this one with 60 and this one with 70, but normal acceleration, right? And do a side-by-side test to see what that looks like in game. Just so you have a rough idea how that is. And keep in mind, Leopard 2, a value of 25, and 105, STRV 105, a value of 37. So maybe it's actually 37.5 or something, but effectively 1.5 times as much. Let's do it 2, so 1 in slow motion, like 1 in normal. Alrighty. Back. So bullet time, just so we can basically more or less give them the orders at the same time. Let's take a look at this at normal speed first. You can see that 105 gets off quite a bit faster, but then you know that they reach the top speed fairly quickly, and then yeah, the Leopard 2 with the higher top speed catches up. Let's do this at slow motion. This one's actually, Leopard's actually a tiny bit. Turn. Okay. Now they should be more or less even. Take a look at this at like very slow. We can see that, you know, if you pay attention to it, it is noticeable. And I believe, I actually didn't test this beforehand. I don't know why. No. I wanted to see. Oh my god, this is incompetence. Oh, holy shit. Okay, I want to see how this affects reverse speed as well. Alright, now they're more or less side by side. Alright, let's tell them to reverse. Yeah, this also affects reverse speed. So if there was a super heavy with this stand, or a heavy tank, or a tank that sees a lot of play with like a 37-meter value of acceleration, that could be somewhat noticeable in normal play, I would say. Not like an obvious thing, but imagine like a super heavy, something like that, Leopard 2F5, V4, T90, M1A2, or even something like an M2 Wilk, Leopard 2 or even M1 Wilk or M84A, having this kind of stand. Especially for like peeking in and out of cover, that would be quite an advantage to have. And yeah, I think that is really all there is to it. Lots of useless info. I actually learned something myself. Here. Let me take a look. Are there any IV lines or something that I missed? Roll. Funny vehicle. Oh yeah, let's take a look at the BMD line. BMD actually the BMD2 CV actually has a good acceleration value, and the BMD line does not. Okay, what else is there? BTRT. This one I'm actually curious because this is a very good thing. Normal value. Virtually all IFVs still have very low, which is good, value when it comes to turning around. You know, tanks, remember, have mostly 5. Leopard 2 line has 4. Most or any kind of IFV and the BMPT as well have low value here. Not like it generally matters. It does for the BMPT, but like on IFVs it doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things. Let's take a look at the WC551. Okay, 550. Yeah, it makes sense. It is a wheeled vehicle after all. CC90 also. What about VAP? VAP T20. Also very fast. This is... I did not realize that at all. that IFVs also sometimes have this, but not all of them. We did it, boys. BVPs are not OP anymore. Alright. If you watched until now, I hope you found this somewhat interesting. Is this a fucking 30-minute video? Oh my goodness. Sorry for all the rambling. I hope you enjoyed it. I did a video in a long while ago, how to use the Armory tool, in case you're wondering how this works. And yeah, that's all there is to it. Hope you enjoyed this way too long video that I could have done in 5 minutes, but yeah. Hopefully I'll see you next time.